So we're here at Odd Seoul in Toronto, and we're gonna try something called a Lucy, which is kind of like what Canadians like to call a Big Mac, but a little Koreanized. And afterwards, I'm gonna try a bulgogi cheesesteak because the owner here grew up in Philly. And finally, because we are in Canada, the land of poutine, we're gonna have some poutine that's a little Koreanized just to make it, you know, a little special. I'm gonna sit down with the owner, Lido. He's gonna tell me how he wanted to open a place that reflected who he is, and I'm gonna try the food. You grew up in Philly, and Philly is, you know, an all-American town.
Yeah, for sure.
And even though you're Canadian by birth,
yeah,
like, you're American.
For sure.
And you guys came back to Toronto.
Came to Toronto 10 years ago now.
10 years ago, and you started doing a Korean restaurant. What was that like?
I wanted to try new things, especially explore Korean food more than what barbecue or bibimbap or just the staples that everyone else knows. We serve kind of dope Korean food, saucy and goes really well with a drink.
Yeah, because you got a bulgogi cheesesteak on the menu.
Growing up in Philly, like a cheesesteak is the staple sandwich. We kind of soup it up by marinating our ribeye in like a sweet Korean style soy-based marinade. Kind of boosts the flavor up a lot.
The thing that I'm really excited about is the Lucy.
Yeah, so we do like a loose chuck patty. We do 50% brisket short rib patty, stuffed with American cheese. We do a hollandaise sauce inside of that. That rather than like a lemon juice as the acid, we use the brine of our kimchi to kind of loosen up that hollandaise sauce.
People call this a Big Mac.
Yeah, people call it the Big Mac. I know. People love Big Macs. People love the Lucy. So a lot of people wouldn't think of there being like any kind of Korean influenced food in this setting, which kind of was our point. I feel like people go into a Korean restaurant knowing it's a Korean restaurant by how it looks.
Right. It's got the really bright lights and the big picture
menus.
menus.
And everything's kind of like faux, like wood, like old school style doors.
Yeah,
but like
the chairs are like rickety.
Yeah, so we like, that's not us. The aesthetic that we like is in this place, and then the food that we kind of grew up knowing, the flavors that we know, are put into these dishes, but in a way that is accessible to people that are new to these flavors. I'm proud of what we're doing here too, especially with Korean food. We never saw a lot of second generation Koreans doing something new while still embracing their own backgrounds, basically.
Like these like Chinatown plates. This is great. I'm just gonna dive into it. This is just a sloppy, awesome mess. And I love it. Kimchi, it's a little inappropriate in a good way. Cheese curds, cocktail. Oh, that's good. I think these squashes are really nice. They do a good job of emulating potato, right? Because they're crispy on the outside, but on the inside they're pillowy and they're soft, kind of dissipate. And so I definitely feel like this is poutine, except maybe like a smidgen healthier. Instead of just a very simple beef gravy, you're getting something that is reminiscent of that, but like also feels a little more Korean. And then, boom, kimchi. Kimchi's good too. It's powerful, it's well fermented. It's not wimpy. I've had so many like loaded fries on the show, but as I am in Canada, this feels like the best poutine I've ever had. I'm actually really excited for this. I love cheesesteaks. This to me looks like a cheesesteak. It's just carbs, beef, and fat. It's the holy trinity. Philadelphia invented it, but I think we're gonna have a really, really nice version here in Toronto. I think this is the best cheesesteak I've ever had. Sorry, Philly. Bulgogi makes your cheesesteaks better. I've had that in Philly. I've had bulgogi cheesesteak in Philly, but this, it's not Cheese Whiz, but it is excellent. And the reason why is that the meat is incredibly tender, it's incredibly rich, it's super beefy, and each little piece of meat is just coated with fatty cheese. I mean, they just become one. You know, it's like the best part of a cheesesteak is when both the meat and the cheese become unrecognizable. They've married. I think a lot of people would be really, really offended by that ketchup. But because I'm Korean, that's the way to do it. $5 Canadian, which is like, I don't know, like $4 US. That's insanely cheap. I think this is super affordable and it's delicious. It's really good quality. I can see how this place just gets like absolutely slammed because this bar food it's really addictive. It's super simple. I need some napkins. This sandwich, this burger sandwich thing. Now, it is small. I mean, like, you know, let's get real. My iPhone will cover this thing. But it's just $5, $5 Canadian. Totally reminds me of like a roadside burger that you'd find in LA, or like maybe like a backyard burger, right? Because it's got the shredded lettuce and it's like super saucy and the meat is like nice and it's like a big chunk of beef. And it's very cheesy. Like the meat, like the cheesesteak, the meat and the cheese come together nicely. The pieces of kimchi and the kimchi hollandaise, they keep it grounded. They remind you that this is a Korean who invented this thing. I can see how people might perceive this as a Big Mac. You got the sauce, you got the shredded lettuce, you got beef, you got cheese. It's a time-tested combination that McDonald's has put into the world and has helped us understand why these things are tasty together. And this one is like, I mean, this is better than a Big Mac, faux show. If I'm gonna come here, if I wanna just hang out with my buddies, have a couple of drinks, and just grub, this is the perfect place for bar food. Thanks so much for watching, and if you wanna see more of K-Town in Toronto, click right here.